Hi everybody, I'm just doing a very quick video here today and I just want to talk about, I suppose, is Ireland safe? And what I want to touch on today is just the tourists here coming into Ireland and the increase on attacks on the tourists here in Ireland. It's not a video of fear or negativity, it's just a video to raise awareness because I do think it's the elephant in the room and I do believe it needs to be spoken about for the sake of the tourist industry here in Ireland, which is at an all-time low. And I think it's best that people, speak about these things rather than, brushing it under the carpet and, pretending, everything is rosy in the garden. I think, there was an horrific attack on an American tourist and Helen McEntee came out and said that she feels that Dublin is safe, and I just feel like, the politicians, you're just not in touch with reality really at the moment. And, they don't want to speak about a lot of things, anything that, upsets their current agendas. And also we've a lot of woke politics in Ireland now. So let's just get into this. Just want to talk about these attacks. Now you can Google these yourself. I don't want to make the video too long and, as I say, bore people to tears. So I'll keep it kind of short and to the point. Just going to read out some of these attacks on tourists here in Ireland. The most recent attack we had was on the 21st of August 2025, just gone, and that was an English tourist who is fighting for his life after an attack in Temple Bar. Now when you Google it up, you will find that Temple Bar is a hotspot for violent attacks on tourists, and I firmly believe that something needs to be done about that. And stop all this kind of with the politicians of denial and pretending it's not happening. It's very much happening. And unfortunately our capital here in Ireland, Dublin city, it's just, there's been an awful lot of attacks. Very sad, to see, because it is our capital and you'd like the capital of your country should be safe. So getting on to some more attacks here, we had an American tourist left fighting for his life after being brutally attacked in Dublin, and that was in July 2023. We had tourists from France and South America attacked by teens in Dublin 8, that was in September 2024. April the 22nd, 2024, we had an 81-year-old American who was thrown to the ground and robbed in Killarney, County Kerry. A very horrific attack there on an 81-year-old woman. That's absolutely horrific. We have another very strange attack here now when I talk about this one. We had an Israeli national who was here with his co-worker who was spat at and harassed by two local women in Dublin because he was from Israel. That's a horrific attack, to attack people just because of where they come from. Just not good enough at all. April 2023, we had two American tourists in their 60s. They were attacked in a lift in a Dublin hotel. We had August then 2023 with an English tourist in Temple Bar kicked and stamped on by a gang. We had a female tourist in Dublin knocked to the ground in a one-punch attack just after arriving, imagine, into the country, into Ireland. And that was in May 2025, so that's not that long ago at all now. We also had in July 2023 in Dublin City, Talbot Street, we had an American tourist that was brutally beaten and kicked by 6 teenagers and is in danger of losing their eye. We had the 23rd of June 2024, a Canadian, this one is the worst now. The 23rd of June 2024, a Canadian tourist was beaten and attacked on O'Connell Street in Dublin City. And 9 days later, that poor man passed away, God rest his soul, and thoughts and prayers with his family. That is just absolutely horrific, and just awful to think that somebody, go probably maybe a holiday of their lifetime to a country as here Ireland, and to never come back alive to their family. That's just the worst. That's horrible. Now January 2017, with 3 young female tourists are attacked on their way to Dublin airport by 2 men in white hoodies. With October 2023, teens throw fireworks at German tourists who were waiting to board a bus in Newcastle West in Limerick. We had February 2025, 2 English tourists robbed in separate incidents in Dublin hotels, and it goes on. And as I said, you can just Google up these attacks if you want yourself. You can read them off. Between violent assaults and attacks on people, also robberies as well. Now, as I said, this video is just to raise awareness and highlight these attacks that are happening on tourists. it needs to be spoken about because it's affecting the tourist industry here in Ireland, and anyone that comes into our country should feel safe. You know, that's paramount. And I just feel like the politicians, you know, they're sweeping it under the carpet and they're not acknowledging at all what's going on here. And, you know, tourism, it's a big industry too in Ireland. We have tourists coming from all over the world, but particularly America. We have a lot of American tourists, and a lot of these attacks have been on Americans, and you know, it's just not good enough. And the American embassy even had to come out and tell their citizens to be careful when they're coming here to Ireland, and that's very sad. I think very sad indeed. And I think shame on the politicians here in Ireland for not doing enough to make our large towns and cities safe. So that's it. I'm not going to go too much into it. As I said, it's a discussion that the politicians, they just don't want to have it because we've got very woke politics at the moment in Ireland, and you know, everything is just rosy in the garden. You know, they want to believe Ireland is safe. You know, you just cannot come out and say that Ireland's not safe. You'll be called all sorts of defamatory names. That's just the way it is now. But I would just want to do this video, as I said, not as, you know, fear porn or negativity, but just to raise awareness that, you know, our American tourists and all our tourists that are coming here, they should be safe, you know. They shouldn't have to put up with this, and the politicians need to wake up and realise, you know, we have a problem, particularly in Dublin City and particularly in Temple Bar, you know, is a hot spot. But, you know, protect our, you know, industry here, our tourism, and, you know, protect all the citizens that are coming here to visit. You know, just like if we go abroad, we'd like to feel safe. You know, it should be the same here for people coming to visit. So that's it. If you've got thoughts on this subject, just, you know, give us your thoughts in the comment section there. And just going to keep it short and sweet. So that's it for today. Like, subscribe, share, and I will catch you in the next video. Have a lovely day. Thank you. Bye.